So, Eshaun, you brought up a few podcasts ago, which was a great call. You kind of talked a little bit about, hey, you've been seeing some things online, been talking to some people where they kind of feel like, maybe Triple H's hires have been more misses than hits. And I said, it'd be kind of cool for us to kind of just go through and give his hires a letter grade. Triple H took over head of creative July, was it 27th or something like that? Because SummerSlam was July 30th. He's brought back more than a handful of folks. So this should be kind of cool. We're going to go down a list, and I tried to do it in chronological order. I think I'm pretty accurate. We're going to start with Dakota Kai and Io Sky and go all the way to just Tegan Knox, who just debuted a couple of weeks ago, and give our letter grades all the way from A, which is excellent, of course, to F, which is a failure. So this should be pretty fun. Before we get started on that, anything you guys would like to tell the fine folks that are listening to us on our last episode of 2022?
Just thank you. I would say, as I look back at the end of this year, at the beginning of every year, I kind of just write down my goals for the year and just kind of what I want out of the year to come. And probably the most proud of all of my accomplishments this year is us actually doing this. We've been talking about this for quite some time. So being able to do this with the people I love, talking about something that I love for so many years, I'm just really, really happy that you are on the ride with me, you two, and everyone else who is listening.
Man, Rhodesia really knows how to bring the tears out of me. I have to take them back, but I echo the same sentiments. Dealing with my best friends, talking about the sport that we love. Matt and I talk every day, all day about wrestling. I would say that's probably one of the things that bonded Matt and I, was our love for wrestling. We've been going strong for decades and decades, and it's fun talking about it with my family. It's fun talking about it with Rhodesia. But, Matt, let's get into this topic. I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
All right. Let's get right into this thing then. Let's start with, and I put them together because, of course, they are together. I don't know if you can really grade Dakota Kai and Io Sky separately. So I did put them together. Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Who wants to go first on what letter grade you give?
Man, I'm okay. All right, let me think about this. I guess I'll go first since I talked first here.
Okay.
I like Damage Control, so I'm going to say an A. They have been on. We talked about this last episode, and probably the episode before. They have been on TV pretty much every week. Some people are loving it, some people are hating it, but they're relevant because they're always on TV. I actually like them, so I'm going to give Damage Control an A.
That's a really nice rating. But I'm going to give him a B-. I'm going to give him a B-.
Nice.
Because I like both gals. I'm glad they're both back. Look, I'm sorry to all the Vince fans I offend, but Crazy Vince didn't see something in these two women. I think they're both phenomenal. I'm looking to hope that this Damage Control thing grows into something a little bit more. They got the straps, they got the titles. It's not there yet. I'm not sure what is missing, what they're missing. But yeah, I'm going to give them a B-. I think they're doing a good job.
I am right in the middle or close to the middle between you guys. I gave them an A-.
Wow.
And we have not talked about this at all. So it's going to be fun to kind of just go through all these. I do know one we should be aligned on straight across the board. We'll get to them in about 2 picks from now. And I think Eshaun knows exactly who I'm talking about. But I give them an A-. I think that I think they've done great. I think we know that a lot of Raw has been kind of put on their shoulders since SummerSlam. We talked about, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, that there is maybe a little something missing. Speaking of last week or 2 weeks ago, if you have not gone back into the archives and listened to our episodes, go ahead and do so. We did a top 10 of 2022 episode about 2 months ago, where we kind of went over our top 10 wrestlers in the business. So we didn't do on today's episode. We're not going to do Wrestler of the Year because our answers really aren't going to change from then. But check those out if you have not. But yeah, we've talked a lot about Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bailey as damage control. But overall, for me, it's 2 thumbs up. I got them at a A- on that. Let's move on to Karrion Kross and Scarlett. I also bundled them together because, of course, you can't have one without the other, or you shouldn't have one without the other. Thanks for nothing, Vince McMahon. Rhodesia, go ahead, seeing that you went first last time. Let's stick with you. What are you giving Karrion Kross and Scarlett?
And I love them so much. I'm going to give them a C- because I will not give them a D because I love them that much. But when he first came back, and I was really excited. The crowd didn't quite understand the character quite yet. But then after kind of the Cardiff, when they had whatever it's called there in Cardiff, it just seems like it kind of sizzled out. So again, it probably should be a D. But right now, I will never give them a D. So they're C- for me. Because I love them both.
Hey, you know what? Like, how does Crazy Vince fire Scarlett after she done, had booby surgery? Because one of them, popped or something like that. And she comes back and he fires her.
Yeah.
Like they get a half a grade from me just for that, because that's a lot of adversity. Look, I'm giving them a B- because they're not there yet. And so, like, my grades are like, I don't think they fully connected with the crowd just yet. I don't think they've found that right storyline or feud to sink their teeth into. But there's definitely something there. The 2 of them look amazing together. Man, and Kross, once he figures it out, I feel like the sky's going to be the limit. And it looks like they got something going on with Scarlett and another female on the roster. Her name's escaping me right now, so that's why I'm not mentioning it. But
another female on the roster.
But yeah, man, I'm giving them a B-. I think they're doing good.
I think that female you're talking about is Emma, which we're going to talk about her.
Hey, that's Emma. Yeah, my girl.
Hey, Matt, real quick, they said for the ladies out there, and I guess for the guys who like guys out there, there's a GIF or whatever meme out there that says we like
Carrie. Or is it a GIF?
GIF guy, whatever. Is we want Karrion with the bald head, so cut his hair off. And
is there a petition for that?
I think so. If not, I might start it.
The man does have beautiful hair, though. So
he does, but he looked better with bald heads. I have a thing for somebody with bald heads.
I am also going to grade this one on the curve because I am huge fans of both of them. So I'm going to give them a B-. They probably should be closer to like a C+, C- if I didn't have any infatuation with them. But everything you guys have said, I can't really add much more onto that. I think they start out really strong, and then we've kind of just sputtered a little bit. So we talked about it too a couple weeks ago around the feud with Rey Mysterio and Karrion Kross. That's coming up now. That should be awesome.
Yeah,
Rey has not had a bad match in God knows how long, so the match should be great. I'm looking forward to the build up to it. I'm going to assume it's going to be at the Rumble, maybe, possibly, or maybe on a SmackDown before that. But I do have them at a B- overall. All right, guys, it's time.
So this is going to be either A or F, the way you just let off on there.
It's time, guys. Hit roll.
I'm going on mute.
Ditto. We're not doing this to them this year. This time. Nope. There's been too many episodes.
You got to score them.
Nope.
Hit roll debuted after Karrion Kross and Scarlett, if I'm not mistaken. They came on to SmackDown. We were all excited. We was ecstatic when that music hit. Saw them come out. We are now in the last week of December. Eshaun, let's go ahead and start with you, sir. What is the score?
I'm on mute.
We heard that.
Hit roll of 2022.
So we gotta set the table on this one right here, right?
Oh, set it, man.
We gotta set the table. WWE went wrong when he had those guys on their second show perform that song in front of that crowd. I think it was like in Utah or something. It was something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was somewhere.
Like, it was some place that probably doesn't have an appreciation for that art, right? So that didn't look good on TV for him. And then fast forward, the Top Dollar, the man had a Charlie horse. Okay, they knew he had a Charlie horse before he sent him out there, and they made that man go out there and do the flying poncho, and he fell, almost broke his neck and his back. So you mean to tell me I gotta grade these brothers and sisters with Charlie horses, and you got them performing in Utah?
So
no, I won't do that.
I do just want to say, you brought up week 2 and then week 19. What happened between week 3 and week 18? Eshaun, stop tiptoeing around. What is the grade?
Before I give a grade, I got another question. Okay. So Crazy Vince fires all these people, gets rid of Bree, you know what I'm saying? And then it's just the 3 of them, and then they fire them. So these people sitting at home, they don't know what they did wrong. They've been told that they were locker room cancers and had bad attitudes and yada 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 yada. You know, how do you think these people feel now that we sitting on our show on this platform and we about to grade these people? You know, like, how do you think they feel about that, Matt? Rhodesia, huh?
I think that you are not answering the question at hand. Hit row. A for excellent, F for failure. Where are you grading them at, sir?
I'll give them.
Excuse me? That's why he leave for something?
He put himself on mute. Rhodesia, it looks like Eshaun is not man enough to tell the audience exactly what the score and the grade should be. Give your grade, please.
I'm going to just be honest here. I know that I think they have a chip on their shoulder. I can't speak for them, but like everything Eshaun mentioned about being released and having to come back to that, kind of trying to figure out their footing, I'm going to give them a D. They're still passing. You can still graduate with a D, but I'm going to give them a D. And it's not entirely their fault. Again, they have a chip on their shoulder. Again, the way you position them, everything you just said about having them debut in an area that's not going to give them a warm reception, kind of set them up for failure anyways. But they still going to pass, but I'm going to give them a D.
Got it.
You?
It's an F.
Oh, God.
Moving on. Braun Strowman.
Wow. Oh, I'll give him a B plus.
Oh gosh.
Maybe an A-. You know what I'm saying? He had the match of his life and his career at the where are they at? Crown Jewel.
Crown Jewel.
Yep. Saudi Arabia.
Like, I think Dave Meltzer gave that a solid 4-star. Like, that alone says it right there, baby. A1. And then he put the whole wrestling community on blast with a promo on Twitter. Like, that's hot. He doing it, man. B plus, A-.
Okay. I like the B plus, A-. All right. Rhodesia, what you got?
Even Triple H called him probably the most polarizing character or wrestler in the business. I can go one moment kind of hating the guy when that whole Twitter thing that he went on. But what he's done in these last few weeks, kind of with Ricochet and putting him over, especially because we were there at the show, I'm going to move that grade up. I'm going to give Braun a B-. I'm going to take the minus away. I'm going to give him a B.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we're all pretty close here. I gave him a B plus.
Hey, real quick though, before you move on, Matt, we're going to talk about another day, but the holiday show that we attended in Atlanta, it was awesome to see Brian actually take time and almost hold up the show trying to, pose and sign autographs with the fans. He was definitely over. And I love to see, wrestlers give their time to the fans like that. So I think that's phenomenal.
That's really cool. That happens a lot at live events. I am super excited to hear your thoughts on that. We will talk about that on next week's show. Eshaun did go with the family, so I am excited to hear his thoughts on the live event experience. We haven't been to a live event in a year. Our last one was last December. So just to hear kind of, differences from TV shows to live events, how the crowd reacted, what type of crowd it was, all that kind of stuff. So that will be coming next week. Good plug there, Eshaun. Yeah, so I got him at a B plus for Braun Strowman. I think it's been solid, or actually it's been really good overall for him, and I think how he's been utilized so far. He's another one that, take personal feelings out aside of kind of what he thinks about certain things. You look at him and just like, man, how the hell did Vince release? Like, what? Yeah. How? The guy is tailor-made for the wrestling business and tailor-made for WWE. All right, let's move on to Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano. I'll start with this one. And I was kind of going back and forth on this. I actually was close to giving him a D. I kind of moved it up a little bit. I got him at a C minus. And I think if I did not know Johnny from NXT, from the Indies, maybe the score is a little bit higher. But I don't even know who Johnny Gargano is that's on Raw. I know he's a face, but he comes across so unlikable to me in a lot of his segments. He's great in regards to his comedic timing. We know that the one sit down he did around the investigation of The Miz, I thought was great. But more often than not, he shows up on TV and I'm like, man, like this guy is not really likable. And of course, that's not what it's supposed to be. So I got him at a C minus right now. He also lost a couple of matches that I didn't understand that has nothing to do with him per se. But some of these scores are going to deal with the booking of said people as well. But it is a C minus for me for Johnny Gargano. Rhodesia, what do you have him at?
I was going to put him at a D, but I just know, again, his past work. But just, again, purely off of this, I think his comedic timing, like you mentioned, and just his character as far as being funny, I just mentioned that. I think that right there and having those vignettes about the investigation, I'm going to bring that up to a C. I think a C minus. I really hope into next year Triple H does something where we can actually see his wrestling ability and how he can really go in the ring. I'm going to give him a C minus. Would have been a D, but just because I am entertained by him when I see him on the TV, I'm going to give him a C minus.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to give him a D like doo-doo. Because that's what I think the run's been so far, man. Like, cause look, and I think there's something there with Johnny because I actually watched a couple of his YouTube shows with his wife, and he had his son on there, and he seems like a really likable guy. There, I'm a gamer myself, so I relate to him in that way. But he's just been god awful to me on TV. I'm just so uninterested in anything he does. Those murder mystery thingies I didn't like that. I haven't really been. I think one thing about Johnny Wrestling is that I haven't really been into his wrestling matches either. So for me, I think this is a waste. We know we're not talking about his NXT work. We know what he can do in the ring, what he did there, but what he's doing since he's been on Raw, doo-doo. D isn't doo-doo.
It's funny too. Hot take on The Miz. Either The Miz is involved in fantastic storylines or he's involved in horrible storylines.
Not a hot take. That's true.
Yeah, that's not. There's not too many that he's kind of just there. Either like we really enjoy it or we're like, man, this is not for me. And unfortunately for me right now, this storyline is not for me. Let's transition to who is also part of this storyline that was brought back and was rehired. Dexter Lumis. What do you guys have Dexter
Has he gotten a contract yet? I think that was like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, he does have a contract. He is officially a part of the WWE via storyline.
I'm going to give him an I for incomplete. We don't know yet. I don't know how I can grade him.
No, that's not fair.
How would I grade him?
The only people we can give eyes for potentially is at the end, which is Sarah Logan and Tegan Knox. We can talk about that when we get there, just because once again, Tegan has been there less than a month. Sarah Logan, she's done
Dexter Lumis just got a contract less than a month ago.
But he's been on the show for months. He's been stalking Miz. Okay. He showed up to his house. He's doing drawings in the back. He's giving money out to little kids.
So
Dexter Lumis has done more than some of the folks on this list actually. Okay. Interesting.
So to that point, I would have given him a D, but because he handed out some money to the kids, I'm gonna give him a C minus.
That's crazy talk. Eshaun.
I'm gonna say F, as in freaking doo doo. Freaking, like in our name, freaking doo doo. Like I haven't seen anything from him in the ring. He doesn't talk, so I haven't seen any personality from him. He's just like not even the Frankenstein monster, because I think the Frankenstein monster has a little bit more charisma. He's doing nothing for me. I mean, they could have taken him out of this role and put somebody else in it, and I wouldn't miss a thing, guys. Sorry to that man.
Sorry to that man.
Take him out and put Hit Row in there, right?
Oh God.
I'm going back on mute.
I love Hit Row though. I mean, I think we just need to start the disclosure at the beginning of every episode. Now.
They get an F, damn it. Okay.
There you go.
Stop talking about it. Let's move on.
Dang.
Oh, my man came through in the clutch. Yeah, I got Dexter at a C. It's been average. So we'll see. All right. This is a big one. Bray Wyatt. What do you guys give Bray?
I absolutely love everything I'm seeing. So I'm going to give Bray, Uncle Howdy, The Fiend, if that still exists, and anybody else that could be part of his personalities, or in this case, other people, or however we're going to interpret this, all of them, I'm going to give them an A. I'm going to give them an A+.
All right. Is that your first A+ you gave out?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Eshaun, where you got him?
You know what? I'm a big Bray Wyatt guy. I started watching the evolution of his character in NXT right before they brought him up. I thought it was very interesting in that character. I love the Fiend, and I'm happy to have him back. But with that being said, I'm gonna give him a B+. To be quite honest with you guys, like as much as I know the fans love him, I love him. And by the way, on that show, just another plug for that. He was insanely over. Like everyone popped when Bray came out. I don't know if we knew he was gonna come and be part of that live show. It was an amazing sight to see. But I'm going to give him a B+ just because I don't care about this version of Bray Wyatt yet.
Ooh.
I don't think Uncle Howdy's interesting. I don't think that crying Bray Wyatt is interesting. He hasn't really connected with me in the way that he did as the original Bray Wyatt character, or he did as cartoony Bray Wyatt or the Fiend character just yet. But here's the thing about the story is that there's hopefully much more to the story to be told, right? So for me, that's still incomplete. We don't know where it's going. But I'm just not connected to this version yet, so which is why I'm giving him a B+.
Okay. Interested for your thoughts on what would you have given him a month ago? What letter grade?
B+.
So you still would have been at B+.
Yeah, I like this version. I'm not getting it yet. To be honest with you, when I saw he's coming back as Uncle Howdy, I was like, that's not as cool as the Fiend. But I'm waiting to see where we're gonna go with this.
I asked because I know some people are not that high on Uncle Howdy. That's why I asked,
No.
What would you have given us a month and a half ago?
Yeah, he's not hitting.
Yeah, for me, I have him at an A. Honestly, I think it's been great. I think the storytelling has been pretty spectacular overall for what we are getting. So he debuted on Extreme Rules, which is October. So it's only been a couple of months, but I think that everything that he's done so far has kept me absolutely intrigued and entertained. It is completely different than what we're used to from Bray Wyatt, right? It looks like they're trying to portray the real life person going against the inner demon, which is now no longer an inner demon. Now we know Uncle Howdy is a legit person. We saw him last week on SmackDown, or 2 weeks ago on SmackDown. So I am interested and excited to see what that looks like going forward. But I do have him at an A because everything that he's done so far on camera, I've been thoroughly impressed with.